Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready to take a bite out of the competition? Are you looking for ideas to make your business better? Welcome to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet,
sponsored by Apple Capital Group.
At the core of every successful business, you'll find people making a difference. And with each episode of the Core Business Show, we talk with those people, examine those ideas, and explore the strategies that make them special. Now, the host of the Core Business Show, Tim Jacquet.
Everybody, welcome to another episode of the Core Business Show. The topic is seniors. Vote like your life depends on it. We have a special guest today. We try to do this broadcast here with Fred Carriage. From there, we're going to go ahead and continue with the show. Fred, welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess to bring us up to date, you're the CEO of Certified Senior Guidance Association. Tell us about your association.
Well, basically, we're a senior advocacy group. We try to do and recommend what is best for seniors. We basically are not in anybody's pocket, so we feel that we have organizations like the AARP, which is directly involved in basically selling. They're an insurance company for all intents and purposes. And more times than not, vote. I'm sorry?
No, I'm just saying the course. Yeah, they do. I got my, AARP card as well, and they try to sell me insurance.
Well, that's all they do. They're basically, they were the formation of an insurance company. They get their investments, and they actually got a very good deal in Obamacare. They got a carve-out, like everybody else gets from the administration, and they basically sold the seniors out. But that's a whole other story. Basically, we do what we can to promote anything financially that's good for senior citizens, including helping them avoid scams. But some of the things that I wanted to mention today, you'll have to do, and I'm going to say I'm biased. I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm certainly, as a matter of fact, I voted yesterday in early voting. I'm definitely voting for Romney Ryan. And it comes down to a very simple thing that troubles me, and that is, and I hope I'm not, I don't mean to offend anybody. Yeah. I speak pretty openly, but, we love this country, and I keep asking myself, what other country than America could the son of a Kansas white mom and an African black man go to the finest school in Hawaii, the private school he went to, go to Harvard, be elected a state senator and then a United States senator, and eventually president of the United States of America? That's only in America. I was so proud when our president went out, yes, because he was African American. I thought that showed a tremendous part of the openness of the United States, and that I think we crossed a tremendous bridge. But in the meantime, what disappointed me are the policies. It's not a racial thing, as many people have accused opponents. There have been some problems, and I can go through a few of them if you'd like.
Yeah,
that I see, and how they affect seniors. The biggest problem I see affecting seniors has been this QE, which is called quantitative easing. And we've had this QE 1, 2, and now we're in 3, which basically is keeping interest rates at a ridiculously low rates. And it makes it impossible for we people who try to save a little bit of money during our lifetime. You put it in the bank today, you're lucky if you get 1%. So now we have the same Democrats who won't trust us to invest any part of our Social Security in the stock market, forcing us to invest in risk assets, which are high interest, which are bonds, or in the stock market, get dividend-paying stocks. So, I mean, it's just a complete dichotomy. It just doesn't make sense. It's the exact opposite advice that any normal financial planner would give you when saying when you're in your 60s and your late 50s, you should start to go for very conservative investments and try to get interest. One of the other things that's happened has been the tax holidays that we've had. Now, I'm not passing on whether they're good and bad, and they're probably good for the economy because it puts more money in people's hands that are working who can then go out and spend it. But the problem is that these are the programs that are supporting Medicare and are supporting Social Security. And as a direct result of the tax holidays that the Obama administration has put in, Social Security Trust Fund is going to run dry 5 years earlier than anticipated. So, it's like Einstein, who says every time you push over on this end, something's going to pop out on the other end. As far as the rest of it, this is just plain simple. I heard it in the debate. When the president was elected, gasoline was $1.68. You take a look in your neighborhood what you're paying for gas, and you make a decision. And the reason that gasoline is so expensive is not because there's a shortage. It's a hidden tax on the middle class. It's because our currency has devalued so much compared to other items. That's why gold has, even though gold has gone down in the last few months, gold has gone up, commodities have gone up. You see it at the grocery store. This is not a complaint and moan session. I don't mean to. I'm just trying to say how we got to where we are and why this isn't fair for seniors who are on these fixed incomes and rely on so many of these things that are called entitlements, but they're really not. Social Security was an investment program where we put our money into the program. In some cases, it was matched by our employers, and if we were our own employer, we paid double. So this is money that we put into these programs. So, you just take a look at what the economy is doing today, and that's why I personally think that, and that's why my organization has recommended the Romney-Ryan ticket. And again, I don't want the 50% of your listeners who are in here today. Please don't get mad. This is an opinion from my side, and I'm not. The important thing is go out and vote. I'm telling everybody, go out and vote. Let's get this down to a correct science where everybody's voice is heard. But again, I just see that the president has done some great things for us. This is a man who has gotten a Nobel Peace Prize, who now has announced that he can assassinate anybody, any place, and he showed us how to do it with Bin Laden. The problem is that Bin Laden is dead, but it hasn't created any jobs. It hasn't given us any more savings. It hasn't done anything at home to help us. It hasn't opened up any more schools. Yeah, we feel good because we got the guy, but I felt pretty good, in the end of the last decade as well. So I think Romney is in a position where he has the proven skills, and we've seen it. We've seen him do it on an elected basis in Massachusetts, where they were one of the strongest economies in the country. We know he's done a great job with the Olympics. Bain Capital, to be honest, I'm not that intelligent that I can tell you all the things that he did, but he did make sick companies run better, and they did very well. So basically, what it comes down to me is that I don't think we can take 4 more years of what we've been going through now. I don't know if what Romney, Ryan are going to do is going to be any better, but I know that if we keep doing what we're doing now, we're going to end up in a lot worse shape than we were before. And that's not because the president's a bad guy. He's a good guy. I would love to have a guy like him as a friend. He's energetic. He's intelligent. He's charming. He's just with that Nancy Pelosi, and with Harry Reid. Nancy Pelosi of the you have to pass it to read it, and Harry Reid, who has these confidential sources that told him, which he announced, that Romney hasn't paid any taxes in 10 years. Both of these have been proven to be, let's call it what it is, nuts. It's almost as crazy as what's happening with the issue in Benghazi now, is why can't these people just tell us the truth? And why do they put themselves in jeopardy? We Americans are not that dumb, and yes, we can take bad news. We'll survive that this poor group of 4 people, great Americans, that they were killed. We'll live with it. We've seen airplanes go into buildings and crash into fields. We can take it. Tell us what happened. Don't give us the song and dance.
To interrupt you real quick, I just want you to mind, we have a question in the chat room. Kind of explain what is tax holiday.
Oh, the tax holiday was, that's a very good question. That's where where the administration says we're not going to collect payroll taxes. We're going to reduce the amount of Social Security and other taxes and income tax that's withheld from your paycheck. And what happens there is that your paycheck, if you were taking home $530 a week, you might be taking home $570 a week. It puts a little bit more money in your pocket, and that's money, hopefully, that you could spend on additional items. In many cases, you might just really have to spend it for food. But that's what I meant by a tax holiday.
Okay.
And we've done that during the year.
Okay. Another question, talking senior investment. When it comes to investing Social Security fund into the stock market, and we just went through a mass meltdown 4 years ago. So if you can trust the person on the other end who's not, you had the Madoffs, you had Stanford, some people really, really taking advantage of everybody across the board, including seniors. But a couple of those hiccups can bring down the whole system. And that was only two that we knew of. There were several others that were on the news media as well, didn't get the same attention. But with the up and down way of the stock market works, and if we put our funds in it, is it safer to be where it is now than the stock market and taking a risk? Because we've, for the last 25 years, we had some wide swings. We have some things in place to protect the from completely crashing, but is that a safe option?
Again, an excellent question. I don't know if it's a safe option or not. I know some people who've made a lot of money in the stock market. I'm known as the person when Fred buys, you sell it. So I'm the wrong way Corrigan of the market. But the problem is that whether it's correct or not, and I don't know. And the investment in the stock market under the Ryan plan, I believe, was that you get about 25% of your money that you accumulate every year that you could put in the stock market. And you're right. If you put it into the stock market 5 years ago, you're probably just getting even now if you didn't panic and get out. So it is true. You go through tremendous gyrations. But on the other hand, this is exactly what we seniors are being forced to do today. Everyone out there, Tim, and you know what it's like. You get great ad in the paper. You can get a 1.01% return on a year-and-a-half CD. I mean, that's crazy. Why would you want to put your money in a bank that you can't touch for a year to get 1%? Nobody can live on that. I remember when my mom was alive, I had bought her some treasury bills that were yielding about 8-9%, and those were state tax free. Yes, but we were in a good economy. There was a little bit more inflation, but at least it gave her money to spend. So in essence, now we're being forced to go into the stock market and to buy junk bonds and the very things that we were told not to in order to try to get a return. We're told by the Fed, buy dividend stocks, buy DuPont, buy this, buy General Motors, buy these high quality stocks that pay a dividend. But that's not what seniors and people who save money should be doing. We should be able to put it in the bank. All of us remember when you put money in the bank and everyone got an automatic 5%. That doesn't exist anymore, and that's all because the economy is going to heck in a handbasket. It's all because we have a $16 trillion debt going higher, and we have to pay this money to China and other investors. The money that goes into Social Security right now, about 8 years ago, we were getting an average return of about 5.6%. The average return in the Security Trust Fund, who must buy a U.S. bonds only, and a special bond designed just for a Social Security Trust Fund, the average return now is like 1.3%. You don't have to be a Harvard grad, not you, but we don't have to be Harvard grads to figure out we're not getting enough money in the trust fund when more money is going out than before, and we're getting 80% less return on our investment. That isn't going to work either. And when that trust fund runs out, there's an automatic cut to people like myself who collect Social Security. There's an automatic cut of 25%. So this business about it won't, if you're over 55, it won't affect you. That's horse poopies. That's not true. If this trust fund runs out of money and it's heading there, Medicare, we know is running into some terrible problems. And the idea that we can take $700 billion out of Medicare and put it into another plan that's going to match Medicare and insure 10 million more people and save Medicare money that's double talk. No logical. I went to San Jose State College in California. I'm not a Harvard grad, but you're not going to tell me when you spend twice as much, you save twice as much. That's what my wife used to tell me when she bought clothes. She'd say, "I just saved you $200 today." So you did? Yeah, I got this $800 worth of clothes for $600. Hey, that's fantastic. You're going to save me into bankruptcy, sweetheart. And I didn't mean to insult women.
Oh, that's all right.
It's really, Tim. To me, it's the same kind of logic. So what we have to do, and it's going to hurt, and whether it's taxing the rich, taxing the poor, taxing this, everybody knows that we pay it. So you don't pay income tax, but you're paying $3.95 a gallon for gas when it used to be $1.60. That's a hidden. It's not a TAX tax, but that's a tax. This Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, it's a tax. I know the president and Nancy and Harry want to call it a fee. The Supreme Court says it's a tax. The IRS is hiring 16,000 agents to collect it. That's a tax. I mean, these people, they keep singing about this thing in Libya, and I hate to go back to that. That this was a tape that caused this, and da 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 da. These people, I'm sorry, they're liars. The president doesn't like to parse words. I'm not Mitt Romney in a debate and saying, well, it doesn't meet the requirements of the truth. These are outright lies. I mean, do they think that we're all collectively that dumb?
Well, what is your opinion? Because this is, healthcare.
I don't have strong opinions. I want you to know.
Yeah, we look at two different worlds, and if we look at the world of the working class, and we're out there earning a living, working, doing the right things we're supposed to do. Hopefully we save enough for retirement. There are some people who work at Walmart. They might, if they work there long enough, they might end up with something at the very end that can give them a pension or some retirement along with their Social Security. They'll get by. However, then you're dealing with another class of society, which kind of younger people, and those are the ones who, I'm not going to pick up any particular person or class, but if you're dealing with some people who
they're rich.
Let's say, like, for example, women who have children. Of course, we can't let the children starve in America, so we're going to give you housing. We're going to give you WIC. We're going to give you food stamps. We're going to give you aid to dependent children. We're going to give you free insurance, so you don't have to have anything. We're going to protect you from falling homeless. If I'm looking at housing, I'm looking at insurance, I'm looking at free daycare, I'm looking at free food, at least a portion of that. We're taking care of this particular class. In this class, if you get all these particular things, maybe it's not going to have the best life. However, how can you leave that particular life and go and do something else? So that particular generation, because of the kids are involved, they're already getting these benefits as it is. But how long can we afford? Does that make sense?
And that's one of the problems. We don't want people that are Americans. We don't want them left alone. We want there to be a safety net. And I agree. I mean, this dividing people up. I have friends that are rich and relatives that are rich, and I have relatives like me that aren't. The people that are working, those are my children. Those are going to be my grandchildren. That's who's working. I don't want to hurt them, and I know they don't want to hurt me. So yes, we do need some safety nets out there. The best thing to help all of this is to get this economy running again, where people can start to get jobs, and that single mom. And you're right, they're in a terrible predicament. But it makes sense when a single mom can make enough money that it makes sense for her to get out of the house and work, where I'm sure she'd, anyone who's been around kids knows that ain't pleasant either. I'm sorry.
No,
that's not the best company in the world either. They'd love to get out.
Maybe one, but not for several.
Yeah, no, right. For the social benefits, if nothing else, just for your sanity, to get out there and be in a workplace and go out for a beer or pizza after work. I mean, that's a big part of people's lives, but we should be able to provide jobs, not provide, but to have an economy that there are jobs available where it makes sense for this single mom to put their kid in daycare, which might be subsidized, and it makes sense for her to work where she's going to end up with more money than she does by sitting home and collecting food stamps, welfare, this, that, and the other, which, by the way, is very demeaning. I don't know of anybody who's collecting any of these government subsidies that's proud of it. When you pay with food stamps, they kind of people try to stand in line so other people don't see it. The people collecting this are not happy that they're in that predicament. And the only thing that's going to get them out is if we eventually get to a position where we have jobs that are paying good money, that, like you say, that are paying a little better than the people at Walmart are getting. And you're right. Somebody who's working at Walmart, I have friends working at Walmart. They're people a little bit younger than me. They're not going to have enough money to retire on from Walmart. So we have to have a Social Security system. But it has to be a Social Security system that does a couple of things. It has to be, the word in sailing is jury-rigged. We have to make some changes. We might have to push the retirement age back a little bit. We might have to make it. Warren Buffett is right. He doesn't have to collect Social Security. And Bill Gates, they don't need Social Security. Why are we giving these people, this is like an insurance program, Social Security. Again, it's a safety net. We don't want these people to have to get it. I agree with President Obama, and I agree with the Romney people, is that the wealthy people who don't need these things, if you have these higher incomes, then you don't have to have your Medicare subsidized. The most important part of Medicare is not the subsidy, because Medicare is not that great a program anyway. But the most important part is that you don't have any pre-existing conditions, and the insurance companies Medicare has to take you. That is what's more important than the cost of the premium. So we do need to have some type of universal health care. I don't know if the Affordable Care Act, or what's called Obamacare, is the one, but I think a guy like Romney, who has set this kind of program up in his state, has a better idea of how to make this work. Again, the major problem with Obamacare is a very logical problem. We're asking people, 10 million people, allowing them to become insured, but we have nothing. We're not adding one doctor, but we are adding 16,000 IRS agents. I mean, this is backwards. We don't need more IRS agents. we could use some more doctors. Let's think of come up with some more ways where we have doctors that are what are called PAs, physician assistants, things in a medical area where we can take care of the people. That's all I'm saying. There are ways to do this, and I agree, and everybody agrees it's going to take a little bit of sacrifice from everybody. And I don't mind hitting the wealthy people, especially if they don't want it. But if they have the Schedule C, which means a private business, then exclude them from the federal income tax. These things are nothing that we have out there has not been done. We have a tremendous model of health care, which is the federal employees' health care. Exactly what all federal employees receive is excellent. As far as Social Security, there's so many things that can be done there. You see that in places like California, and I'm just familiar because I live on the West Coast, where they have a program called CalPERS, and that's where all the retirement funds go, but it doesn't go into 1% interest. These people at CalPERS are the most brilliant investment minds in the country, and they invest money, and they get high returns. They'll buy real estate. They buy whatever makes sense to give a larger return. And therefore, California, with all their craziness, they still can afford to pay their pensions. So there are ways, there are examples that we can save both of these, but somebody somewhere has got to get off their rear ends and start to implement it. And they got to give us, what's that thing? A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Well, we're not getting the sugar. We got to take the medicine, but it's there. This is there, and this is America. We're going to solve it.
Wow. Last few questions real quick is regarding, will the Tea Party have an impact on this particular election?
No, I don't hear, again, anybody's as open as I am. I don't see anything there. I think the madness of the Tea Party has now probably been incorporated in a lot of the diatribe that's coming out of the Republican Party. So I don't see Ron Paul or Rand Paul. I haven't seen Ron Paul at all. And once in a while I see Rand Paul being interviewed, but I don't see a lot of Tea Party. I think that what's her name? What's her? I can't think of the congressperson.
Michelle Bachmann.
Michelle, yeah. I understand she's having a hard time getting reelected in her district. So I think the worst part of that's over. And that's the same thing with the what was that? The Wall Street what was that thing
Occupy
called?
movement. Yeah,
right. Those are both dead issues. I think it was great. It was great for the Democrats to hang on to that. And then they saw a few of these people being interviewed, and it was like reality TV. And they said, no, we don't want to support that either. So I think the country is so divided, and almost 50-50, that to take it to the ultra-left extreme and the other one to the ultra-right extreme, it isn't necessary. We're so divided now that we're all, there really is a tremendous, the first time that I remember is there's really a tremendous choice between the two people running for president. And as you can see, I've thrown my hat in, for Mitt Romney. I don't know if Romney and Ryan are going to do better. I don't know, but I do know what we have done hasn't worked. And maybe that's a negative approach to it, but that's the only logical approach that I've been able to come up with.
Okay. Is there capitalism ever falling in this country?
No, I really don't believe that can happen. It's in our blood. That's silly to say, but it's in our entire psyche. We train people. I know we've tried to. I was watching an old Everyone Loves Raymond episode the other night, and there was a coach trying to explain to the father that, we don't do this to keep score and this, that, and the other. Well, that's not us. You look at us at football games. Look at us at the World Series. We do like to see the winners. We like to see this kid who's the new quarterback for Washington, RG3. These are great and inspirational people. I follow this guy to heck and back. We're just very competitive. We're not going to lose that competition. And if you look, the rest of the world that's like China is coming more towards a capitalistic. Now their political form of government, which I don't know much about. Now we're getting in a dangerous area. I don't know much about anything, but I know even less about China. Their political system is still the communist or, I guess, totalitarian type, but their financial system is certainly, I have a niece and nephew that are living there working for Disney in Shanghai. This is a very, very capitalistic type of society, and every kind of society down deep is at the worker, at the little guy level like you and me, or at least like me. At that level, all countries and everybody is capitalistic. Whether you sell produce in a market, you're doing it for a profit. And the more profits you make, the less hard you have to work, and hopefully your kids will do better than you. There are more millionaires in China than there are in the United States.
Wow. Last thoughts real quick. We only have about 30, 40 seconds. What would you like to leave us in a nutshell with?
Well, in a nutshell, again, just what we're talking about. Your last question is excellent. Is that this is the United States? It's unfortunate to see this wedge driven between the class type warfare, and that's not just the Democratic side. Both sides are doing it. We are still Americans. You saw it after 9/11, where we come together. We still are the greatest country, I believe, in history. There are some things that are wrong, and that's one of the things that you have with free people. We have the ability to make, people say there are more Americans in jail than any place else. Yeah, you have the ability in a free country to do something wrong and be a crook. It's not the choice that we recommend. This is a great country. We're going to survive this. No matter who is elected president, we're going to survive it because we have to. So at some point, things will turn around and get together. Nobody should get caught up. If you watch the news all day long, you're going to get sick. You might even start taking lithium. It's not as bad as it sounds. If you're out of work, hang in there. Nobody's looking to abandon you. If you're a senior citizen, no one's looking to abandon you. We are America. We're going to fight together, and we're going to come out on top.
Perfect. Well said. Thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure, and anytime. And again, I hope I didn't offend people, but those are my opinions, and opinions are like derrieres. Everyone has one. So my opinion is no better than any of your listeners, and if you're strong Obama fans, and God bless, and I wish you just as well.
God bless. Say on the program, Fred. Take care.
You too, my friend. Bye bye.
Okay. Again, it's been
Thank you for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet. For more information about equipment financing and asset-based loans, visit our website, applecapitalgroup.com. That's applecapitalgroup.com. Or call us at 866-611-7457. We hope you'll join us for our next episode. And remember, you can always get to the core via iTunes. You'll find all our previous episodes there. And thanks again for listening to the Core Business Show with Tim Jacquet.